Well, I voted no.
Right.
Even the so-called skinny chips bill, we had gotten, I think, 3 different texts in 24 hours, constantly changing the bill. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, there's no way anybody could have known what we were voting on yesterday, because Schumer himself said that he had made up his mind about what he was going to put on the floor. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
That was Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri. We'll get him on the show as soon as we can. It's a very intelligent vote. Why vote for a shell bill, which went from like $75 billion, which is bad enough, to $250 billion in the blink of an eye? That's what happens when you put Chuck Schumer in charge of stuff. So my great friend, Senator Bill Hagerty, is here. Unfortunately, he voted to advance the China bill, and he joins me now to talk about it. Senator Hagerty, you broke my heart on this. I mean, I don't know why. I know there were 16 Republicans, yourself included, who voted for it. I don't understand that. But you in particular have been a great pro-business, free market, supply-side, conservative follower of Donald Trump. Why do this? I mean, why give them all this money right now?
Well, what I did last night, Larry, was actually vote on a procedural process to move forward on this bill, because I've been aggressively negotiating to put my deregulatory approach into it. And by that, I'm talking about a fast-track permitting process for chip fabrication facilities here in America. Right now, it takes almost 5 years to basically permit a chip fabrication plant here. If you think about the rate of technology development in that space, it's far too long. It makes us not competitive. It's one of the biggest reasons why we don't have chip manufacturing here in America. With my legislation, this will take it down to 18 months. That's the type of deregulatory approach I think we both like. That's what I've been working hard to negotiate into the bill. We have yet to see the final text, as Senator Hawley said, but I'm in the process of trying to negotiate this into the final text, because I think it will make a big difference. I'm dissatisfied with the size of this bill, as you are. I'm also dissatisfied with our national security posture right now with respect to chip manufacturing here.
Senator Hagerty, I got to tell you, look, as someone who helped author the NEPA permitting reforms, along with people like Andrew Ullman and Francis Brooke and the National Economic Council, I acknowledge, I mean, the Bidens have torn those permitting reforms to shreds, but you're not going to solve that in this bill, sir. And that ain't worth $250 billion. Handouts, corporate subsidies. I mean, all this stuff. You know, the amazing thing is, it's like every time government gets involved, all right, we're going to have subsidies and help this industry. You know the industry is in bad shape. So what's happened? Prices are falling, the stocks are falling, the demand is falling, the peak for the semiconductor problem post-pandemic is long gone, and they had made a fortune in the last couple of years. They've been investing. The private sector is investing $250 billion. Private sector, that's according to the Semiconductor Trade Association. They don't need this money, sir. They don't need this money. And you got to fess up. Either we're going to be for inflation or anti-inflation. Either we're going to be for all this government spending or against all this government. Either we're going to be for pay-fors or not for pay-fors. You got to choose. It's not about permitting, sir. With all respect, you're a great senator and you're an old friend. It's not about permitting. You know that. And the Democrats ain't going to let you write this bill. Trust me on that. They sprung this 250, like some kind of Mad Hatter box spring coming out. They're not going to let you touch this bill. You're going to go for cloture in a day or two.
I'm going to continue to work hard, Larry, to get this language in. Again, I worked hard with my colleagues last night. That's why I voted to continue to proceed at this point. And again, I haven't seen the final language, but I'm very concerned about this process. I want to see it improved. I want to see it put into place. And again, I'm very concerned about the lack of competitiveness that we see right now. It's not a level playing field in the chip space. We saw what happened during the height of the pandemic when we could not get chips here in America. That brought about inflation. What I'd like to see is an expansion of supply right here in America, because I think that makes our country more competitive and safer from a national security standpoint.
You know, U.S. leads the world in chip design, 52%, chip making equipment, 50%. 7 of the world's 10 largest semiconductor companies are based in the United States. Taiwan Semiconductors moved to Arizona. We're in great shape. I mean, I don't understand this competitive stuff. Samsung's building another factory in Texas. We're the world leaders. Commodity chips are made in Taiwan and South Korea. That's fine. China's nowhere near us on this. But you can't spend. I mean, here, how about this, Bill Hagerty? Why not take this money and make the 100% expensing provision for plants and equipment, okay? Make that permanent or run it out for another 3-4 years because the thing's going to expire. Now, that wouldn't be a bad use of money, but you know what? Or make the research and development credit fully expensing for at least several years until we're going to have decent tax reform. That would have been for all American companies, not picking winners and losers. That's my problem. One of my problems here is I hate industrial policy. That's what the Chinese do. That's what the Germans do. That's what the French do. And they have nothing. Their economies are nothing burgers, particularly in Europe. But we can't out-China China. You know that, Bill.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about it, but China has made this one of their target industries, and I'm also very concerned about Taiwan and what may happen with the Taiwan Strait. And if something does happen, if China does take action against Taiwan, as we've heard them articulate, I'm deeply concerned about where that leaves us from a national security standpoint, Larry.
But this bill doesn't cover that. I mean, if you want to spend more money and build up Taiwan's national security and weaponry and Navy and Air Force, I'm all for that, 100% for that. But this bill has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Well, from my standpoint, these are all national security concerns as well, and I want to see us as competitive as we possibly can be. This is not a level playing field that we're on. China, again, heavily subsidizes this industry because they want to make it a champion. They want to dominate this space, and I don't want to see us vulnerable. Again, I'll come back to my legislation that I think will greatly enhance our competitiveness here. I want to see more capacity built here in America.
You sure? I mean, they have built so much capacity. I mean, here's some numbers. Global semiconductor capacity up 6.7% in 2020, 8.6% in 21, and expected to grow another 9% here in 2022. We're looking at over capacity. And the other point, though, is, let me ask you this, Senator Hagerty. Mm-hmm. You're a man in business. You're a great ambassador to Japan. You're a free market conservative from Tennessee. You don't believe in central planning. We can't out-China China. I know that China has central planning, and their government and the Chinese Communist Party run everything. Mm-hmm. Where's that going to lead? We're free market entrepreneurs. In other words, why not lower tax rates to create incentives for all American businesses? We're no good at picking winners and losers. Every time. Who is it? Somebody said when they formed Semitech years ago, the technology consortium, the day the ink was dry, it was out of date. You know that. Dynamism is unpredictable. Why are we picking? Why should I give Intel money? They're already going to go to Ohio. Rob Portman were here. He'd tell me about Ohio. They're already going to go to Ohio. Arrow going to build a plant in Germany. Intel's going to build a plant in Germany with American taxpayer dollars. I don't want that. Do you?
No, I don't want to see our tax dollars used in Germany or anyplace else outside of America. But again, I want to see the capacity here from a national security standpoint, Larry. I'm deeply concerned about this particular industry. We felt the pain of it over the past 18 months. And again, I want to reiterate the fact that the enhancement I'm trying to put here, I think could make a big difference. And again, I voted on a procedural basis to continue this discussion, to continue this debate. And I haven't seen the final language, but I'm working hard to try to improve this in a way that does use the type of deregulatory principles that you and I both think are superior.
All right, we'll leave it there. Senator Bill Hagerty, thanks very much.